Hi everybody, welcome back to Just a Dream Away. My name is Tiffany, and in today's video I'm doing the anti-TBR tag. I was tagged by Spencer at Sphinx Reads, and I will link his tag video down below, so definitely check that out. These are some of my favorite booktube videos to watch. I love seeing everyone's answers to these tag questions, so I'm really excited to make my own. But really quick before I get started, please remember that this is just my own personal opinions and reading preferences. Please don't take it personally if I'm not interested in reading something you really enjoy or one of your favorite books or series. So question number 1 is a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. And for me, this is the Harry Potter series. I've never read these books. I haven't watched the movies either, so I don't have any kind of nostalgia or fond childhood memories attached to this series. And then over the past several years, I've heard more and more about the problematic content in these books, about anti-Semitism and cultural appropriation and other issues in the book series, and then comments that the author has made as well. So I already didn't really care about reading these, and then that just made me even less inclined to read them. So yeah, I don't really have any interest in reading these ever. I'll probably never read the Harry Potter books. And question number 2 is a classic book or author you have no interest in reading. This one was a little trickier for me to answer because I do like a lot of classics. But what I came up with is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. Apart from anything else, this is just a really long book. It's like over 1,000 pages long, and that is a lot of time and energy to invest in any book. And I have seen the movie version of Gone with the Wind, and I know it's supposed to be one of the most accurate, true to the book film adaptations of a novel ever made. So I'm already familiar with the plot and characters from the movie, and of course there are a lot of racist stereotypes in the movie. I would assume there are in the novel as well. But I don't really care about spending that much time reading Gone with the Wind. I just don't. And question number 3 is an author whose books you have no interest in reading. And this, for me, is Stephen King. I don't like horror or thriller books. I don't like anything scary. I don't like scary books. I don't like scary movies. They're just not my thing. So that's, of course, what Stephen King is known for. That's what he writes. So I don't have any interest in reading any of his books ever. And question number 4 is an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. And I didn't find an answer for this one. For one thing, I am really bad at remembering authors' names, so there's been quite a few times when I've read a book and it wasn't until I was finished with the book that I realized I'd already read other books by the same author before. And then there's also been quite a few times when I've disliked one or two books by an author and liked some of their other books. So I couldn't find any authors that I would just completely cross off my list and say, never again, not for me, at this point. And question number 5 is a genre you have no interest in or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. And I actually have answers for both halves of this question. So the first part is a genre you have no interest in. And I already mentioned I don't like horror or thriller or any kind of scary books. So yeah, no interest in those. And also, I don't like reading graphic sexual content at all. So I have no interest in, obviously, erotica or the like steamy side of the romance genre. I do like clean romances sometimes, but I have no interest in reading the like steamy or smutty romances or whatever you want to call it. I've also heard them called open door romances. But yeah, those just aren't for me, not my thing. And then a genre I tried to get into and couldn't is cozy mysteries. I have tried reading cozy mysteries and I've just never found one that I liked. I just can't get into them. And I do like some cozy mystery television series. Rosemary and Thyme is one of my favorites. I also like Father Brown, but I just can't get into the books. I might pick up another and give it another try at some point, but so far I've never found one that I liked, no matter how many I've read. So question number 6 is a book you have bought but will never read. This can be a book you have unhauled or returned to the library unread. And I couldn't come up with an answer for this one either. I actually don't buy that many books. Most of my reading is library books. So I couldn't find a book that I have purchased and then changed my mind and don't want to read. And as far as library returns that I've taken back unread, I couldn't find one that I've checked out and then changed my mind and didn't want to read, so I returned it unread. I've returned library books unread, but only because they were due back before I had a chance to read them, not because I changed my mind and didn't want to read them anymore. Question number 7. A series you have no interest in reading, or a series you started and didn't finish. So the first part of this question is a series you have no interest in reading, and for me that's Twilight. I never had interest in the Twilight books when they were like super popular and everywhere. I didn't have interest in them then. I don't have any interest in reading them now. Supernatural, paranormal romances aren't really my thing. I don't care for like vampire or werewolf or ghost stories, romance or otherwise. And then I've also heard about some of the racism and cultural appropriation in these with the werewolves. I don't know all the details because I haven't read them, but I know I saw some other Native reviewers point out the racism in them before, and yeah, like I said, they're already not really my thing, and then the anti-Native racism in them makes it very much not my thing. I have no interest in reading these ever. As far as a series that I started and didn't finish, for me, this is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. And I did actually technically finish this series because originally it was only supposed to be a trilogy, and I read the first 3 books. But then the author announced he was going to continue on and write more and add on to the series. And I haven't read the 4th on. I don't know how many more have come out, but I read the first 3 books and I liked them enough to want to finish the series, but I didn't love them. They weren't my favorite. And by the time I finished the original trilogy, I didn't care about reading any more of them. So when the author announced that he was going to continue on with the series, I didn't care about picking up the 4th or, like I said, however many more. I'm not sure how many more have come out. But yeah, so I didn't actually finish that series at this point, but I did when it was out for the first time. And question number 8, the last question, is a new release you have no interest in reading. And honestly, I don't follow new releases that closely, so I don't know of any that I don't have any interest in reading. I do know of a few new releases that are coming out that I want to read, but I don't follow releases closely enough to know of any that I don't have any interest in. But that's the last question, so that is it for my anti-TBR tag. I feel like most people have done this tag at this point, so if you're a booktuber and you're watching this and you haven't done this tag yet, I'm tagging you. I'd love to see your anti-TBR. Like I said, these are some of my favorite videos to watch, so I hope you enjoyed watching mine. And subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye!